and sweet. My intro, because this is just me, Ryan, from the Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast, watching the making of Rocky vs. Drago by Sylvester Stallone. I had some technical difficulties. I think this is like round 3 of me trying to do this. I'm basically watching this because I'm going to review it for my podcast. So yeah, I've got notes or pen and paper ready to take notes. So join me if you want. I might check the socials as I'm watching and listening just to see if anyone's commenting so I can comment back in the video. So it's not a professionally done thing. This is, this is just me watching it for the first time, and you're welcome to watch it with me if you haven't already. So I don't know if this is going to work, but here we go. Let's try it again. Here we go. I know it was shot on an iPhone. I remember that. So I've seen the first 5 minutes a couple times, just so you know.
Started to work on editing Rocky 4 up here. Building is basically empty, but we're going to try to fill it up with some inspiration. Come on.
Here we go. I got it working now. I think it's working. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I said before, Sly's looking good here. I like how this guy shuts him down.
You can't film anymore. Yeah.
I get a kick out of that.
I don't know, it's kind of complicated. You're looking at something that's 35 years old, or even more. Pieces are missing, but it's a great puzzle. Kind of like being caught in a time machine. We're the only ones here. This is like the day the earth stood still. Come on in.
So I know his friend John Herzog is filming on his iPhone here. That much I know. I'm curious what he's holding, like how he's holding the iPhone, because I know when I record, you're all over the place with wobbles.
Back to work.
He must have some sort of steady cam or something with his iPhone.
Morning.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thanks. Hey.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, he did this during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, in September.
Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. Street of Broken Dreams.
See, I wonder what he's eating there with that popsicle. It's probably some sort of...
I remember standing down there in 1975. No battle plan. I just knew that you got your back against the wall. And there's no retreat. There's no retreating. That was it. Because in my life, as you walk forward, the ground behind you disintegrates. So there is no retreat. You either fall forward or you cease to exist.
Fall forward or cease
Why
to
did
exist?
you write this?
I guess subliminally, I was doing something that was kind of like in lieu of talking to a therapist. Everyone dreams to have.
Doesn't the title mean? Rocky, over here, please. Is this the first time the champion has been?
He's like, turn that off. I'm trying to give a good speech here.
Doesn't the title mean anything to you anymore?
Everyone dreams
Now, we know you've agreed
to
to take
have
this
an
fight, but don't you
opportunity
think you're moving a little too
to
quickly?
go for it one time. At least the opportunity. If you fail,
The Rocky Balboa will have no official championship title.
which quite often happens, at least you had the opportunity.
Drago, what does this
When that
fight mean to you?
opportunity
Do you have any feelings
is
on it?
denied and you never get that moment to shine, to show what you have, that's what drives people insane. Like, I just want to
What
know,
is that
did
lollipop?
I have it or did I not? But don't deny me my moment to get up,
Drago, what
to
does
get
this
up to the
fight mean
starting
to you?
line and
Do you have any
run
feelings on it?
the race one time. If I fail, I fail, but at least I know.
Sly's giving great wisdom here, and that guy with the editing.
What does this fight mean to
But
you?
I didn't have it, but at least I
Do you have any
tried.
feelings on it?
Keeps interrupting him.
That's it.
He's probably gonna go punch him out now. Keep punching the president meets the past. Okay, here we go. He's going to start editing the film, I think.
This one here is in 1985. This is the fourth one. I never thought we were getting past the first one. To this day, I just cannot describe what Rocky is. And maybe that's the beauty of it, that it just touches on a level that even I don't understand. No one goes through life without a bunch of bruised knees and sore knuckles. It's just one big battle. And I think they identify with that because quite often life makes us go beyond what we think we can go beyond. And it's scary when you're being pushed into that unknown. You're like, oh yeah, I get married and now I have to support my kids.
Sly's always
and
full of
another
wisdom.
Child, and then I'm losing my job and political climates change. It's like constant battle. That's why I wrote that line. No one hits harder than life. It will beat you to your ground.
Beat you to your
Beat you
knees.
to the ground and keep you there if you let it. And it will. Life is a bitch. Life is gravity. And gravity is the strongest force in the universe. You think about if you go back to John or his film, if you could go back and recut your film, I guarantee you would approach it with a sensitivity and a wisdom and a confidence. You go, why didn't I see that
So yeah, for
before?
full disclosure,
You
I
didn't have a
haven't
choice.
seen the new cut yet. I'm
You
watching
were
this first.
inundated, you're frenzied, you're under the gun. Art is not a collective form. It's a single vision, and you have to be very careful who you let into your vision, because obviously no one sees the same thing the same way. And I compromised.
For the studio. I
Imagine Picasso doing a painting and needing 500 people. Well, that's what you need in a movie, 500 people
bet. Yeah.
to carry out a single vision. Good luck. Now, finally, it's just me. That's it.
So it's interesting.
And
So
you're sticking in your 2 cents too, so it's okay.
so he's got to think back of what he would have wanted done back when he was 40 something.
Why am I eating these things?
But looking through the eyes of a
See, this is
75-year-old.
nerves. Pure and simple.
The Mystery of the Lollipop. What is
The
it?
other ones were a little bit more realistic, a little bit more grounded in the streets of Philadelphia. I thought money had transported him into a different phase. He's lost kind of like his grip on the
Yep.
streets. So he has a robot, he has cars, he has money. What I'm missing here is what's at stake, the soul. I missed it the first time around. Apollo Creed gives him back his destiny, which is he's a warrior. And he had sort of given that up. He's dressing differently and living like a man without any care. Everything was perfect. Nothing's perfect. Life is just about management of problems. Whoever manages their problems the best has the best life. He wasn't managing any problems.
Interesting. Wasn't managing any problems.
Knocks him in the corner instead of hitting 4 times. 1, 2, and then here comes Carl before that punch.
What are you adding with this fight?
I just think it'd be great for him to rally so it isn't a complete slaughter. That you go,
Oh.
Apollo Creed did go down fighting. He didn't go down being slaughtered.
Oh, that's interesting. So he wants to
Why is
show
that
Apollo
I
more of a
just think
fight.
that it enhances his legacy. Also, he shows that Drago is vulnerable. He isn't just the guy going to walk through you. That
Right.
Rocky maybe will have a chance against this guy. He's incredibly strong, but Apollo does get to him.
He's not a machine. He's a
Before
man.
age.
He can bleed.
And obsolescence takes over. So I just think it layers it, because nobody wants to see, a bull taken and just led to the slaughter. You want to see
Right.
a bull fight.
35 years later, what is the metaphor that you're making with this different version of the fight?
A warrior is a warrior to the very end, and though he may be defeated, he won't go quietly into that good night. There's
Nice.
something noble in his defeat. Right now, there's nothing noble.
Yeah, he gets killed by
And he gets
in the original
slaughtered.
cut.
And he gets slaughtered for ego.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, I want to be remembered. But now he's showing you why he's so great.
So
Okay.
do you think you made a mistake before, or this is something
Yeah,
that just
completely,
happened?
absolutely. it was too superficial, and that comes with age. You know, obviously I'm a lot older and been through a lot of wear and tear emotionally, and so you understand the human condition. Back then, it was very superficial, and I was just, you know, on a physical level, but I realized the physical level is nothing compared to the mental.
It's true.
Stop the fight!
Anytime I can avoid this straight-on shot when reacting to something off screen, I feel it's more cinematic than, as soon as I see this, I realize I'm in a movie.
Oh,
As soon as I see this in the side, I realize we're eavesdropping
interesting.
on someone's life. Like that angle, I'm eavesdropping. When I
Oh,
sit
you're
in
like a
an
member of the
audience
audience.
at a movie or
Like
an
the boxing
event,
audience.
that's usually the way you look at people from the side. You don't go, "Hey, how are you?"
Do good, Sly.
You know, you don't do that because obviously it's rude and self-conscious. But you do that.
Okay, ready? Action of it.
Stop the fight!
Cut.
She actually would.
May she rest in peace.
The Russians got free trap now.
That's a new clip there. Set him up or something? What's new, is it?
In this movie, we create a lot of guilt, real guilt. I didn't think the guilt was as profound. It's his fault. He allowed him to fight the guy he was supposed to fight.
Yeah.
When you were writing the script, was that the theme that was prominent in your head, guilt?
Not as much, not as profound. I thought it would be. I was thinking more of just a tale, like a great adventure, and I didn't think of the ramifications. Like, okay, he dies. It's like the death of a legend, like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
It's like it has profound repercussions, and then the guilt that you allowed it to do, and then you realize what burden it put on his life, which is eventually seen in Creed.
Yeah.
You know, it just had long-term repercussions. I never thought like that.
I've never seen Apollo take so much punishment.
Before, Rocky could have stopped the fight and didn't. This time, he's dropping the towel, but that punch hits at the same time. So as the towel drops, everything drops, his life drops. He's just a second late.
It's interesting. We've got like a movie commentary on the film itself, as well as reasons for changing things. Interesting.
I came to win.
No, not the other reading's better.
And then the lesson is
I came to win.
not be defeated. Ready? Action. I cannot be defeated.
Good. Also,
I'd like to thank my manager.
It's weird hearing Sly giving Drake. Oh, look at Dolph laughing there. That's
I'd
funny.
like to thank the people that raised me, people that introduced me to herring and other Swedish health foods.
It's cool to hear Sly talking as a director,
I'd like to
giving
thank my Viking
Dolph the lines
ancestors
there. It's kind of
for
interesting.
teaching me how to brave the cold.
Soon, the whole world will know my name. DRAGO. DRAGO.
Interesting.
Hallelujah.
Soon, whole world will know my name.
See, I haven't seen the new film yet, so this is all new footage for me right now.
DRAGO.
I wonder if Sly will comment on that line. No, I guess not. It's always weird to see Sly wearing a mask. Like, I know, like this COVID thing. It's just
Rocky forward. Well, winding down. Every time I go in there, I think we're done. We're not done. It's almost like panning for gold. God. Let's go back for one more nugget. Then you realize you find one, then you get maybe 2 nuggets, maybe 3 nuggets. Before you know it,
Yeah.
you're digging a new
I was
mine.
gonna say, what point do you stop fiddling?
So eventually you just have to go pull the plug.
Yeah, there you go.
But the truth is, in art, the plug is never pulled.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
You're always creating. Your brain's always going, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a creator. I have no idea. But I would assume you just probably feel like it's never finished, no matter what you're working on.
Woo!
Look at this
I
guy.
think the biggest problem I had as a younger filmmaker was lack of patience and confidence in extending the moment. I was always very cognizant, okay, the audience is going to get bored, jump ahead. Instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt and let the emotion sink in, I would rush right through it. And now I completely see the fallibility and all that. It's very frustrating.
Well, to be fair, there's the
That's why I'm
80s.
so happy to get a shot at this. It's like, imagine getting a shot to re-edit your life. It's like go back and do things that you always wanted to do.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Obviously, you can't do that with everything, but that's the beauty of film.
If you have
You
the
can go back
footage,
and
don't burn it like you
revisit
did with the
your
first Rocky
reality.
film. Like the studio burnt that unused
That's
footage.
so much better than what was in the film. But you gotta milk it.
Yeah, let me cut it in and then,
Yeah.
you can-
Because in the original, it's just cut too short, and I guess I was in a hurry that day.
Well, it was the 80s, and the people, like, it was
Oh my
back when
God.
he was a huge action star. So even Rocky,
Oh.
the franchise, turned into like an action franchise.
You can't win!
Say what?
Yeah, just a couple frames off the head. You can't go, please. You can't win. Wham. It's not a delayed
How
reaction.
strong he is! You can't win!
Perfect. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
All right, let me take this out.
Get rid of the old stuff. Out.
Keep going on this. Keep it
Yeah. Keep going until. you turn it.
Interesting to get this like direct direction from Sly right in this little room. Interesting experience.
Yeah, and right there, that's where you go to Adrian. Okay?
Adrian always told the
Is what we
truth.
already have. Oh, Adrian. There you go. Adrian.
Oh, hear that? That's the Conti music. Interesting.
There's so much footage that it's very hard to wrap your head around. You know, with a million feet of fighting, this and that. So, I guess I didn't peruse all this stuff in depth. And now I see, I went, oh, it was all there.
So you've
Yeah.
never seen this take
Never.
since you shot it?
I've never seen it
It's
since
weird.
1985. I thought, how do we make this so different? There's not much more I can add to his backstory, but I can visually take him in a different direction and use a different sound and a different cutting pattern, which I caught a lot of shit for.
What do you mean?
Well, because it was at the height of MTV, and they considered this a 90-minute video.
Yeah.
When some reviews took you to task for what you just said, what was that like?
If you don't switch up, perhaps you're just going over the same ground. So I thought, okay, I'm going to gamble. Let's surround him with more visual and music and this constant bombardment of the senses, which you cannot do with drama. If you're doing traditional drama, you walk in the door, you say the lines, you walk out the door, as opposed to montage where you're just hitting them with 2.5-second cuts. So you're bombarding the senses. There's synaptic overload. That's why montage is so effective. He's being exploited and treated like a non-human, right? for totalitarianism, and Rocky is on the other end. He's sacrificing himself, and this guy here, I don't know if he's sensing something in Rocky that's different. There's no fear, there's no this, but it's a different animal. So as opposed to Apollo Creed, which he didn't have any feeling for, he was just an object to destroy. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Because by the end of this fight, they both changed. Whereas Apollo dies because he goes, we can't change.
We can't change who
Of course,
we are,
have to
Stallion.
adapt or cease to exist. So that's the difference. And the more I can mine out of this stuff, the more the audience is going to take away something besides just a fight. They're going to take away, we went through a journey.
Have Drago speak for himself?
Yes?
Yes,
Well,
Interesting.
I have nothing to say.
Ooh.
All this extra dialogue from
Hey,
Drago.
That one?
well, it looks like he has something to say, but he's not allowed to say it. I have nothing to say.
I even thought during the original
have
Rocky
nothing to
IV
Have Drago
that
speak
know
Dolph was
he's
being used as a
lying.
puppet,
Yes,
but I guess they're going to spell it out more in this
Well,
cut.
well,
Dolph, you owe me.
nothing to say.
Hey, we don't keep our people behind a wall with machine guns. Who are you? Who am I? I'm the unsilent majority.
As a blooper reel.
Big mouth.
Why now?
That's great. I wish we had a blooper reel for the film, eh? Wouldn't that be great?
What was that? I know it's a hard line. I'm the unsilent majority. Yeah. God. I can't even keep a straight face. Let's try that again. That's funny.
That's cool to see that blooper
You
reel
never know
stuff.
what you're gonna get with Paulie. The original idea started out with Joe Louis when he was fighting Max Schmeling. Max Schmeling was considered a tool for Hitler. So he comes over, and Joe Louis, considered the greatest heavyweight, was beaten to a pulp. Hitler used this as propaganda. See, we are the master race. We came over and destroyed Joe Louis. And Joe Louis now had this entire weight and this humiliation of losing. It wasn't just him. America lost to Hitler. So he just brooded and trained, and then they had the rematch. And it was literally two countries coming to war.
Two
And
worlds
Joe
collide.
Louis goes out and literally beats him to a
Rising
pulp in
nation.
the first round. Makes him squeal, crushes him. Hitler loses his mind, basically bans Max Schmeling, like you're persona non grata, and America goes on to regain its status. Democracy.
I love how
prevails.
Sly uses real life
He held
events.
the
I don't
title
care.
for
He
12
makes
and a
it
half
dramatic
years.
and awesome, you
Considered
know,
like
like
the greatest heavyweight.
life
ever.
imitating art.
So it
What
was a
the
big
Rocky
deal. I
franchise
said, why don't
does.
I do that today? History repeats itself. So here you have Rocky, who's Joe Louis, and then you have this guy, Max Schmeling, from the super race, and the exact same thing happens.
How many movies did you do with Bill Butler, who was the cinematographer?
4 or 5.
Quite
Bill
acclaimed guy, right?
Oh,
Jaws.
he's a great guy. You know, it's my responsibility to really set it up. It's not his. You know, guys are trained in a traditional fashion, but boxing is sloppy and awkward and rough and chaotic. It's not structured. This is not structured. Look at it. I'm over here. Why is Tony Burton over there? The other guy's leaning against the ropes. It's deconstructed, which makes it real. The first time they used canvas with stars and it's red, white, and blue, and it started taking on a theme. Before that, fights weren't thematic. So if you looked at fights from the 30s to the early 70s, it's literally the same ring. Black ropes, gray canvas. So I thought each fight with Rocky would take on a theme. This is a very futuristic
interesting.
fight, at least at that time. Look at us. We're in space, we're technological, we're biological. We're going to take you into a world of the future. Your fighter is from a world of the past. No one has white ropes like that. No one has Russian insignias over the ring. It's very Star Warian. A wrap the post with
Interesting.
mylar.
I mean,
it looks like chrome.
I noticed the
mirror.
Rocky 3
It's just
stallion
way over
canvas,
the
but I didn't
top.
realize he did it for older
Because
films.
it was like a political rally.
Each fight
So
had
when you're putting smoke in this, which is very, very different, to put so much smoke, did you think that people might criticize you for that, or?
Oh yeah, but it's not a fight. It's a statement, a recruiting method. It's like I'm going to show you that we are better than you. We are smarter than you. We are cooler than you. We're more modern than you. They're using DRAGO as a recruiting tool for how far their society is ahead of ours. But DRAGO has no soul. They eliminated his soul. He doesn't want a soul. They didn't want him to have a soul. He's a machine. But as you know, machines break down. And that's what we see in this film here. We see literally he regains a soul. He becomes human. And how does he become human? He has to experience serious pain. He's never been hurt. When Rocky introduces him to mortality, wow, I can be cut, I can be hurt. They told me I was impervious. I'm not. I'm human. I'm a man and I'm vulnerable.
Did you feel all this when you were writing it?
Yeah,
you were aware of
I did. I mean, obviously I pontificate and vocalize a lot more now, but that's the crux of the whole thing.
That's great behind the scenes stuff. I love it.
Not for the title. The American Boxing Commission have not sanctioned this bout.
Find the British voice, and there's no British people in the movie, so someone decided, I guess when I was in lunch, to add a bit British commentator.
Who would decide that?
I don't know. They've probably been deported by now.
Well, when would this be put in post-production or during production?
This would have been done in 1985.
But while you were shooting or after?
After.
And what's a loop group?
Behind my back.
Yeah, what exactly is a loop group?
Yeah, loop group comes in and, you know, they make noise in the background and they kind of give it some vitality. But no one asked him to do a blow-by-blow description of the fight.
Well, you're mixing the movie. You must have heard him.
I did not. You know,
This is not in the movie?
it is in a movie, but I'm claiming amnesia. Sorry, I'm going on the amnesia vote. All right, let's move on.
Interesting. I like how John can ask these tough questions. You know, because I know they're friends, so or even best friends, I believe, John and Sly. So we're getting some tough questions, and I like that Sly's allowing these kind of exposures to be shown to
With all the
us.
boxing movies made before Rocky, what did they get wrong?
Our perception of boxing is through TV, and it's always filmed from one side. They never cross angles. In movies, they start jumping around. Second of all, they go inside the ring. They're never inside the ring. And that's a specific moment where you're saying things. So there's always obstruction through the ropes. There's always a foreground. And very few people know how to throw a punch. So when they throw, it's arms, and you realize they're not trying to hurt each other, rather than actually practicing so they can swing so hard and miss by this much. But that takes months. One of the worst crimes is you always cast fighters that fight the same way, you know, the same styles. When I got an opponent, they're radically different, and usually they're more powerful. There's a lot of mathematics that go into boxing. I've always said people, you know, they look at boxing films, I said, it's the hardest film in the world to make. The dramatics have to be worthwhile to make you give a damn about the movie. And second of all, the fight itself is a whole other movie with no dialogue. The key is the cutaway. What are you fighting for? And that's all I gotta say about that.
He's like, I don't want to give away all the secrets to how to make a good boxing film. To keep his the best, I guess.
This simple defeat of this little so-called champion will be a perfect example of how weak your society has become.
We go!
Tell me a little bit about Michael Pataki, who plays that Russian. He's such a significant part of this movie.
Well, I don't think he's Russian, but he's a great character actor who
He was great. Yeah, he was really good in the film.
accents. He just came in there and tore it up, and I thought he was the real deal. I thought he was from Siberia, Moscow. He just was a complete surprise and embraced everything and just dominated so much I kept writing more and more and more dialogue for him. So he just killed it.
Whatever he hits,
He destroys.
he destroys.
There's one thing that looked one way when you have the pipes, and he has the pipes. It's a sound, and he had the right sound.
No more talk now. We will talk after.
You developed your voice, didn't you?
My voice is a product of a lot of things. I was born in a charity ward, so we didn't have a lot of money, so they killed the nerve here. And that's why my mouth is crooked on one side, and my voice is very, very deep. I have to keep it up, and I slur, because, a portion of my tongue doesn't form exact vowel sounds, especially THs. But it turned out to be a blessing. It made it very, very unique.
But you worked on your speech impediment in college,
I tried
right?
to work on it as much as possible. I worked on it to the point where I became somewhat intelligible, but it would never be crystal clear. I would never be doing narrations.
But you're narrating this.
For nature documentaries.
Oh, sure.
But it's perfect for the kind of characters I played.
Did it inhibit you when you were starting out as an actor to have this?
Yeah. I was always basically castigated or just removed. What'd you say? You're unintelligible. I remember my first reviews on Rocky. They said I sounded like an old mafioso pallbearer. Something like that. It doesn't bother me anymore. I realize
Doesn't bother
it's
me
there.
none.
I can't do anything about it. It's different. I just sound like me. No one sounds like me, and I don't sound like
Well,
me.
he's made a
So,
career off that voice. So I mean, what started off as a impairment maybe in his life became that's what makes Sly, right? Being born with that struggle allowed him to be who he is.
What are you going to do with all this stuff?
I want an editor to edit it.
Why can't you cut it yourself?
'Cause I'm
Derek
not
Wayne
that
Johnson edited
sure
this
to do all the
documentary, and I'm going to
editing
be
I wanna do.
interviewing him soon,
I
so
can
stand
do
by
it.
for that.
No,
So.
you can't. You can't do what I want to do.
Is it that complicated?
Very complicated.
Well, I wasn't expecting a documentary on an iPhone in a little office doing a movie that's 35 years old that because of this particular COVID season, there was something to do, and it turns out you end up doing a documentary on it. Okay, well, good. Good luck with that.
Well, we appreciate it, Sly, and thank you, John, for filming it. Oh, great memorabilia stuff here. Wow. Must be Sly's personal collection. I've got that Christmas decoration with the movie theater. I've got that one. I've got that book, too. That's about it. I don't have a lot of stuff. I just don't have the money. That's cool. Oh, they're all
This
great.
is a treatment for the upcoming film entitled Rocky IV. Isn't that funny? The film opens up exactly where Rocky III left off with Apollo and Rocky in the gym. They're about to spar one another, exchanging one-liners. Finally, they both unleash powerful punches at the same moment, and both of them go back against the ropes, fall down. In the film, of course, I decided not to get punched and fall against the ropes and fall down, and we froze it. And Apollo's supposed to say, "Did that hurt you as much as it hurt me?" And Rocky goes, "Absolutely." Apollo goes, "We'll just say it's a tie, okay?" That's the way it was supposed to go down,
Interesting.
but it didn't. Apollo sees once and for all that out of sight, out of mind, and in a fury jumps into a taxi with Rocky and heads to the Russians' training camp. Never did that, but it gives you an idea of how much a movie transitions during the writing. In the taxi, Paulo and I exchange heated words about the idealities and the philosophies and why Apollo does not want to be remembered as just a pug, a boxer. He wants to be remembered as a symbol, not just a professional punching bag, as he says. He wants to make a political statement. Oh, okay. Forgot about that. He wants to be an earth shaker.
Well, he sort
to
of
be
talks
the
about
first
that.
one to defeat a Russian in a sort of undeclared war.
It's about us against them, Stallion.
This is the choreography, and so you write it out like music. Jabs, counter, so on,
It's crazy.
so forth.
Imagine having that book.
And you have to memorize all this.
What did you find today?
I found gold.
Look at that Leroy Neiman
Gold in
painting.
an
It's
editing
awesome.
room. You know, DRAGO was very simplistic. He was there, he was a wrecking machine, he was basically a robot, and coming across these moments of his where he tries to express himself, and you go, why didn't I put that in the original cut? Because you feel for him. It's like he's freed himself, but also he's gonna end up a tragedy.
Look at this man cave he's got, eh? It's crazy. I would love to hang out there one day.
Oh, they just went. This right here? Oh,
Oh, it sounds like I heard Mickey's voice there.
18.
Must be in the editing here, but I already added it. I heard a rumor that Mickey's voice might
23 unanswered questions.
be 23. They probably wouldn't allow that.
Samaritan next week?
Yeah, about 2 days.
I mean,
Come on,
what's that
Samaritan
like?
film. Let's get out and watch this thing already.
Pandemic.
Should be a lot of work. It's a pain in the ass. I was tested today. I have to be tested on Monday. Then as soon as I land, I have to be tested again. And then tested the next day.
What's the test like?
Well, it's down the throat. Eventually you feel like a sword swallower.
How long does it take to get the results?
Well, now they're just a couple hours. Yeah. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. The main thing is time. The studio's not gonna go an hour over. Already the studio's lost millions and millions of dollars. Every studio has. So there's no mood for any sort of insecure acting or directing or producing
Interesting.
or anything. You better just go in there and get what you need and get out and forget all the frills. Okay.
It's like I'm done talking about that.
He goes in there with a neutral, sometimes a defeatist attitude, and he has to overcome it. So through his training, he starts to gain a little bit of momentum and self-confidence, but he still goes in there knowing it's 50-50. He never goes in with confidence, I'm gonna do this. The only time I ever wrote that was in Rocky III, when he was winning and winning and winning. We find out they were all easy fights. This one he goes,
They was
"Oh, I
handpicked.
can't win."
They went
So
handpicked.
the audience now is on board because that's life. This was shot in Canada.
Yep,
Believe it or
Vancouver.
not, this is where they have rodeos. In the last Rocky Balboa.
No, he's wrong there. This was filmed in Vancouver.
And
It's
here in
Calgary
Rocky
that has the rodeos, but
and
it's okay.
A lot more. It's just the way it's distributed. You see the backlighting. The audience is supposed to be mysterious. I don't want to see them in like their bright makeup. They're supposed to be kind of like in judgment of things. And this audience is definitely looks mysterious.
This is not for the title. The American Boxing Commission have not sanctioned this bout.
Rocky, we got you!
Hey Rocky, we got you. Well, I don't understand where these voices from hell are coming from.
Was that in the movie?
Unfortunately, it is in the movie, but it was. It won't be now. Hey Rocky, we got you.
That's an excellent point. Doesn't make sense.
Drago, nice hair.
Drago, nice hair.
Got you. Okay,
That's funny.
Let's gotta go.
Let me mute that too.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why would they have some person from Philly yelling in the Russian crowd? Yeah.
Lose that. And here we go. Keep going. This is where I'm gonna go from. So I hit him, you cut around to this, and you see me then shove him out. That's great.
And now
amazing.
this means more, because you didn't see it before.
This one was like Drago.
You want to try cutting to Drago's corner or the crowd?
Well, it's first it would be the crowd, the ones that like this are just waving, And it's Drago, Drago, Drago kind of a thing. So
I never
let's see how
liked that they
cuts.
cheer Rocky's name at the end. I wonder if he cuts that out in the final film, or his director's cut.
I
It
don't
doesn't
like
make sense that the
close-up
crowd would
inside
cheer
the
for
car.
Rocky.
It's just too vain. That's much better.
So you think you were vain back then in terms of these shots?
There was an abundance of vanity. So every time you see the extreme close-up, you put in something like this, okay? Oh my God. Oh God.
Well, you were young,
Now, when you're
younger.
directing yourself, was anyone giving you feedback?
No. If I'm directing, I'm thinking, how am I gonna cut this scene before I cut it? So I'll sometimes start with the close-up on them because I know they're gonna give it much more. And when I get to the wide shots, I'll work backwards. You have to know what kind of actor you're working with. Some guys, they get more intense with every take, and some get worse. I don't like doing a lot of takes. Anything over 3 takes, you're not prepared.
Really?
I think so. Unless it's an accident, it's a lighting problem, the wind kicks up, someone blows their lines, but people shouldn't blow their lines 3 times in a row.
It's
You
interesting.
did
here.
everything on your first take?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting insight about his acting.
Okay.
Does everything on his first take. That's
What
like
happens when you're
that's
working
like
with
Clint
somebody
Eastwood.
and you're not just in a close-up and they have to work up. They need a lot of takes.
Once you have it, then you can experiment. But if you don't have it, don't go searching for it on my time and everyone else's time. Because you're burning out everybody because you can't figure it out.
Oh, he stresses me out a little bit
Follow
here.
what I'm saying?
I follow you,
A lot of
Sly.
but some actors
That's
work
like
that
some
way,
guy
right?
playing football, right? You got 11 people. Let's use that analogy on a movie set. You got 11 people. The running back has never read the playbook. So he's going here, he's trying to figure it out. You're going, no. You go, the quarterback says you go from here to there. He goes, okay. No, I said from here to there. Oh, so meanwhile, you spend 3/4 of the game explaining where he should run instead of reading the playbook and knowing what you're supposed to do before you get there. I learned everyone's lines.
You learn everyone's lines.
Everyone's lines. That way, after
What?
a while, I can actually focus on what
To a
I'm
degree.
thinking about. A
Yeah,
lot of people don't learn their lines until they get to the set. They go, keeps me fresh. I go, oh, bullshit. What if a brain surgeon decided, like, I'll figure it out once I get in there? Come on.
Oh,
The
interesting.
craft is
come prepared when you're going to a
knowing
Sly
it.
film. Come prepared.
storing
Just
it,
giving you a heads up here.
letting it incubate, letting it ferment, and then the creative juices kick in. When I see an actor walk onto the set in the morning with these sides and they're going, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee and kind of like fold it over. Okay, let's go. What do you mean I don't owe you money? I've seen actors that actually don't know their lines, and I'm feeding them lines. I've taped their friggin' lines to my shoulder.
Oof.
I have cue cards out here, and then they're going, they blow that, and they say, well, it's not written clearly.
Read the dummy cards.
I say, guys, why don't you learn your freaking lines? You know what I mean? See how he comes up like that? That's the peak of his moment. As the arm reaches the top, that would slingshot us and catapult into the next cut. Let's not get too colorful, Sly.
Whoa, look at that shot. Oh, that's a cool shot.
That's great. Him just looking exhausted and
That's good. That's much better. Let's keep going. This was an insane venture. How do you do all this and like it's exhausting, and then you have to direct, then you have to choreograph, you have to rewrite it. It's just
a lot of work,
definitely
Sly.
not conducive to a long life. But I'm glad I did it, but I don't recommend it.
He doesn't recommend it, but he's smiling memorably there.
Different ways. You can't expect an editor to actually get it exactly how you see it. It's a different rhythm, just the way.
Well, a lot of
you
times
dance
directors
a
sit with
certain way,
editors,
I
don't
dance a
they?
certain way. I punch see like that. This punch has always bothered me. This, to the naked eye, is the most egregious angle you can have, which is profile.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can fake it. You can only fake it when it's head on, like this.
Yeah.
Because you have no depth perspective. We can't have any of this. None of the recut.
So he's going to take out those misses. Well, he's got to do that in Rocky 3 as well, because Rocky 3 has a lot of those.
There. That punch. It frees. He's moving so fast, you normally don't catch it, but now I'm very sensitive to it. Having watched the same mistake for 35 years, and this has to be remedied. So it will be replaced.
Did he ever connect?
The first round when he knocked me down, that's for real. You could feel them usually just after a while, the good ones. He would leave his hands a little soft, so the punches would just touch you, nick you like that. The thing is, he wouldn't bear down on it, which could hurt you. You see, there's a softness in the hands. I connected a lot. I'm a cheap shot artist.
You did?
Especially, oh yeah.
I'm a cheap shot artist.
Especially to the body. The proof is in the picture.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So he would go, did I do something wrong? Are you hitting me in the kidneys? I didn't realize it at the time. That's a hit?
Well, we know that Dolph hit Sly pretty hard. He could send him to the hospital.
Hit.
So he's counting the hit and misses here. Interesting.
That black mouthpiece. The story is not in the punches. The story is in the expression. If you're not feeling what's going on emotionally with both of these guys during the fight, you might as well just see two rams butting heads. Keep going forward. The cut, is there. You see how he leans over? When he leans over towards the left, go back a couple frames. That is the complete opposite of what the original was, where I take a complete beating. This is like interesting. Like people are not going to expect this.
Why do you want to change this?
I don't want it to be so one-sided. I want him to gain respect for this guy immediately. So what we've given DRAGO is a vulnerability. So when he says this guy is like a piece of iron, no one's ever stood up to me like that.
That's when Drago starts to get that respect for Rocky.
In the original cut, Rocky takes much more of an ass whooping, and I thought I'd like to see him not keep getting punched and punched and punched with the same shots, that he finally just kicks it in the high gear, and I saw some vicious stuff I've been seeing over 3 decades. I said, you know what? We're never going to see this again. I mean, there was so much choreography and practice. I said, why am I wasting it? So we put it in there. Now it's 4 punches, it should be 3. The mathematical equation of punches, 1, 2, 3 is your best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's a little theatrical, but 1, 2, 3 is usually the maximum that you can be effective at one time, that all 3 could land. A real fighter, if you kept hitting him on the side once, he's going to block you.
Yeah.
You're not going to hit him 3 times in a row. He's just not. That's pure movies. So Dolph is lifting his elbows up so I can do that. But now that I've learned a lot more about boxing, if you see here now, that's real.
Interesting.
1, 2. Action, reaction,
So it's trying to make the fight also more realistic.
Stagnant, like, It's boom, boom. That's the key to really good boxing. I'm, half-ass at it, but when you see a pro snap,
You can just tell the way he moves, though, that he's got this
that's
natural boxing
that's
ability.
the
It seems
difference
like it,
between
the way he just
pro, it's just that
shucks and jives, even
there's
here.
never been anything like this particular choreography. This was at least 6-7 months. This will never be surpassed. It's
Yeah.
impossible. and I'll be that brazen and
Wow.
egotistical. It just was a different time. I mean, I look at this today with great pride going, how did we ever do that?
Well, it's good to be proud of your work. Nothing wrong with that, man.
Okay.
And I don't disagree. I wonder if there's no way that there's going to be a boxing fight on screen that's going to be better.
They're too loud. I'd like to optically blow this up about 10% and do this. See how it's coming in from this angle? And right now, so you see him doing this, but then you see him coming in underneath? Not good. I want it to be like that. So it looks like he's coming from above, which he would. He's 6'5". See what I mean? Right now he's throwing a punch here, which makes no sense. There it is, right away. That's 100% better. Wow. I want him to be on the same wavelength as me. So therefore, you tilt him 25 degrees. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. There. Now, blow it up. Tilt more. Keep going. Tilt to the right. Okay, blow it up.
It's amazing how he
See my head
sees.
and see his head? We're on the same frequency now.
Huh.
Get it? Right. Okay. We just figured it out.
Wow. Talk about the fine
3.5
touches.
decades later.
And you haven't done this anywhere else?
I haven't done this anywhere else. See, it's just great.
Wait a minute, you haven't
Give us
done it
a
anywhere
shot
else
at
in
this.
any of the Rockies?
No. I'm a better filmmaker now that I don't make films. Okay, here we go.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, keep going. Back, no. You see that? Oh, where was this? Keep going, back, 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 back. Keep going, back, back, back. Okay, now, he comes up. Bang, what was that? Right there. You see the left hook from Dolph? From that point on, this is so exasperating.
Interesting.
But you're getting stuff you never had.
I know, but man, it's like laying on your deathbed going, why didn't I just say I love everyone? And why didn't I just try to get along? Why didn't I make amends? Why didn't I figure it all out? When when you're in your prime, why, does wisdom come late?
Well,
You think,
that's for everybody.
Yeah, I did it, man. I left nothing on the table. People realize they don't leave crumbs on the table. They leave entire banquets on the table. They're not even aware of it until it's too late. I've evolved, but the movie hasn't evolved. I wish I could, let's try to bring this up to date. This is not something that's solitary to me. I think this runs through life, and everyone could have done better. Everyone thinks you did. Oh, I did a great job. No, could have done better. Could have done better. And everyone wishes they could go back and revisit and redo and retool. Oh, I guess they love to that one. And I wish I'd done a better job here. And I wish I'd applied myself more. And I wish I'd run a little faster there. Dug a little deeper here. I guarantee you there isn't an artist that lived. Not one. Since the first guy that crawled out of the swamp and did a cave painting, who doesn't think they could do it better today?
Well, yes and no. I know what he's saying, that everyone does feel like they could do better, but definitely people feel that way more now than they did 100 years ago. It's not good. It's like I can never relax. I can never relax.
You just discovered what?
Apollo's not wearing his boxing gloves when he goes, I want you, and In the next shot, he's wearing his white gloves.
I want you! I want you!
And now he's wearing gloves.
I never caught that
So in
flub
35 years, you've just noticed this now.
That's pathetic.
How many times have you seen this movie?
Oh, God, what, 100?
And been there and everything, and this minute
Mm-hmm.
is the first time you've noticed
First time I've noticed he has.
that he doesn't have boxing gloves on.
Exactly. This was actually done after the fight, all the corner stuff.
Right. I wonder how many other
Because I
people
like to
noticed
get the
that.
fight done and then work backwards. Wow. Go in slow motion there.
Oh.
I don't even know if he's wearing his pants. Okay, so replace that shot, please.
And Con Margaret, Buchanan.
And what we have is I want you, I want you. He did it in the same configuration, but he didn't raise his hands.
I do it again.
I want you!
Come on, save your energy, would you?
I love this extra footage here.
I got a problem. I put my hand up and I know it's going to spring. Okay.
I want you! I want you, Drago!
Save your energy, would you?
Save your energy, would you? They should have done the dance routine.
You wouldn't kill Apollo.
Never. If I had to do it ever again, I never would have killed Apollo. Absolutely not. It was foolish. I thought I needed that kind of springboard to.
Oh, extra footage for the funeral.
On his really great, powerful velocity forward. Him in a wheelchair, he would assume the role of Mickey. And, you know, now his physicality has been diminished.
I don't know
He would
about
have
that.
seen a different side of Apollo. He could have opened up to all these other things that we
don't know.
didn't even know about.
Sly must know by
Now
doing
with
that. You don't have the
wheelchair.
Creed films.
And he
It's
would
really not the way we
kinda
have
like
them
been
now.
a father figure, mentor,
Wonder- yeah.
brother. Been really great. Like he would have been embraced by my family. Then you have his family too. Then well, what about that whole thing? Yeah, it would have been
It would have changed the Rockies from there
it would have
on.
changed the entire trajectory of all the Rockies. I mean, there,
Oh, there you go.
there would have been Rocky 5 would have never happened, and Rocky 6 maybe never would have happened
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And Creed.
Yeah,
Right.
well, Creed probably never would have been made.
So he
Crazy,
doesn't.
huh?
He addressed
Wow,
that.
big. What do you think Carl is going to be when Carl watches
He's gonna
this
be
and goes,
pissed
"I kn-"
off, very pissed off.
that he goes, wait, I could have lived.
For 2 more films, yeah. Another 20 years. He's gonna be so aggravated.
Yeah, Carl.
Sorry, Carl.
He's not watching the documentary, I bet. Sorry, Sly. You can feel bad for Carl, but
Sorry, Carl. Okay, moving on.
like, Carl didn't even give him
Energy up.
permission to give him the Creed cuts.
What round is
The
it?
Rocky 6.
15th round, the last one.
We need that blooper
How many
reel.
hours have you been in this editing room?
Hundreds. Sun is just coming up when you get here, pretty much. This actually is a very bright room because I let sunlight in. I was afraid of getting rickets from lack of vitamin D. I anticipated 2 days of just snipping a little trim. I shaved this movie's head. We got to start from the beginning with the sound. And for all of those that don't understand, in boxing, there's thousands of sounds. There's crowd, and the canvas, and the gloves, and the whistling, and the clapping, and booing. It's an orchestrated chaos.
So isn't this a rather big job to do all these punches?
Having to deconstruct something that was a physical medium as opposed to now, which is all digital.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were able to splice up this film. It's all physical film.
Balboa picking up the
With the
Russian
audio
and
stuff.
throws him to the ground like a wrestler. It's a gutter war. No holds barred in Moscow.
Rings have paddings. When I do a film, I take the padding out, so it's basically canvas right on the board, which makes it faster. But when you hit the ground, you're hitting basically a floor. So these shots here, it's really reckless.
Did you say you donated your body to the movies?
Yeah,
I had no idea about the ring stuff. That's interesting.
Back to my body, my spine, my shoulders, my hips, my neck. knees.
Is there any point in your long career you go, I'm really hurt, I gotta back off this?
No.
Why?
I don't know, it's just something about just doing it, just saying I did it. I never planned to be an action actor, and it just never entered my mind. I had always been more into dramatics. The first plays I ever did were always, the classics, and then you go into Death of a Salesman, Eugene O'Neill, and we'd start going to existential comedy, like Ionesco, and so on. So even some by Camus, even did the only play by Picasso, which was very odd. Desire caught by
It's
the
cool
tail.
behind the scene photos there. Or
Somehow
photos.
I got into action by accident.
Rambo, yeah, that's one that did
I
it.
read the screenplay for First Blood. I thought, Jesus, this is a no-brainer. This is real pathos. Action, when it's done properly, is modern mythology.
I'll be covering the
this
Rambo
is a
series
teaching
after we're
of
done with
Joseph
Creed.
Campbell.
Can't wait.
Every society deals in mythology, and that's the way I approached it. And then that I was cast because I liked it. I really liked it because it translated
And it made a lot
into
of money.
different mediums. I think sometimes I did too many. It didn't go back and forth because I enjoyed doing films like Copland too. I feel very comfortable doing films like that. So a lot of the Rockies I tried to make dramatic, like Rocky 1, Rocky 2, the last Rocky Balboa, Creed. There's a lot of drama in there. Yes, but it's not a sports film. It's a drama. It's a drama.
So you don't consider any of the Rocky sports films?
Not even close.
Not even close.
No. And this one here is very unique because the fourth, the one that introduces character in a different way, DRAGO, more modern, more mechanical, more driven by music and montage rather than actual having him do scenes, long, laborious, verbal scenes. He's so visual, you don't need for him to speak a lot. The less he speaks, the more mysterious. So I said, okay, how do I handle this dilemma? Because I'd written a lot of dialogue for him. A lot of dialogue.
You
He
want
was
more
not,
dialogue.
Shy. He was outspoken, he was intelligent. I said, wow, every time he talks, he diminishes his mystique. So how do I keep the mystique? Montage.
Connect that to Dolph Lundgren. How did he impact that decision?
He impacted by just, first of all, going along with it because he had been, studying acting. He was very good. But I think he trusted me, and I guess it paid off because he's still considered one of the top 3 villains of all time, without being a real villain. He was manipulated. He was a lab experiment. He's the Frankenstein monster.
That's
A
awesome.
friend of mine was at a restaurant that he happened to show up at, and
Which friend?
you, actually, John
Right.
Herzfeld, the man in the mask, the muffled interviewer. And I was going to cast a beer, bullish, is that what you're talking about, kind of guy?
Yeah, you had
Bear,
said,
a
you had
Russian
said the
bear.
concept of him really
The
changed.
concept was an ape, basically a giant Neanderthal, primitive thing, terrifying. And Rocky would have been, oh my God, this would have been something overwhelming, primitive, huge. And then you told this Dolph Lundgren, why don't you send your picture to Sylvester Stallone?
Well, he
and
actually
testing agent?"
he went home. I told him to go home.
Went home, came
Right.
back to the restaurant,
Interesting.
gave me the photo, and then you shipped it to me, right, or someone.
I brought it to you.
You brought it to me. So your memory's better than mine. And I went, wow. Light bulb goes off, news flash, bolt of lightning. I go, wow. And I completely changed the script at that second. I went, all right, original concept, gone. New concept. DRAGO is the future. He's not a primitive. He's the future. He's science. He's evolved 1,000 years where man should be. Perfect intelligent, flawless,
Interesting.
perfection. Whereas Rocky is not perfection. He's awkward, he's smaller, he's flawed, like I said before. And this guy is perfect, which takes it almost into an android. So you're fighting technology against humanity.
That was clear.
Really interesting concept now. Science against natural evolution. And I thought the audience, my God, they're going to see something they've never seen before, because no one had ever seen anyone like Dolph Lundgren before.
No.
Not only is he, 6'5.5", like IQ of 160, 65 plus. You're talking about a chemical engineer and a Fulbright scholar. This is like, come on. So he was the embodiment of that.
Let's talk for a second about Talia Shire.
I don't think that she was ever given the full credit for the success of the whole Rocky series, because without her, there is no him. He just wanted to redeem himself, that he wasn't a bum from
gave her credit on our podcast,
in his
like,
eyes,
that's for sure.
He could look in the mirror and go, wow, I amounted to something. And that was due to her. He finally had something to live for, something to protect. And she, with her incredible understated acting ability, embodied an entire silent majority of women that kind of live in this pressure cooker existence and never really get to blossom. And you see her blossom. You see her literally go from a dying plant to a rose. Acting with her is like being against a great change-up pitcher. It's gonna be a curve, a slider, a fastball, like a jazz woodwind. She's up and down, all over.
She's great.
Really incredible. We got very, very lucky.
That's a nice tribute to Talia Shire. So you must add more footage of her, I guess. In the new cut. It's interesting to hear the sounds coming from, because this is done during the montage. You don't hear them actually.
When you think of this shot here,
That's my homage shot.
yes, and this
To,
is homage to
Steve Reeves.
Yeah.
Guy that started me out. Like this skinny kid and really thin. I was dodging school at 12 years old. I went to a theater and they were playing Hercules. He's coming out of the temple and he's been chained up and he whips these chains. And he pulls and it's like this really iconic shot. And literally my mind exploded. It changed my life. I literally came out of there with a purpose. I want to be that. So when people say your film's influence, absolutely. If you're going to theater and your mind is open,
I love that.
but there's still some questions in your soul about something, about your life, this, that, and all of a sudden, your dilemma is played out on the screen. It just resonates.
what was the name of the theater?
It was called the Silver Theater in Silver Springs, Maryland. I
You went
remember
alone?
it like it's yesterday.
You went alone.
Alone. Got on the bus for 10 cents, sat in that theater, it was empty.
It kind of has slides built there. It's interesting.
Remember, and I went from there, that movie theater, right to a junkyard, and started lifting anything. There was
Junkyard, he does that training in
brakes,
the
right, things
first Rocky.
Axles, like pieces. It's not big, but enough. Then I took a couple of pieces home and tied them together with ropes, and I just started lifting junk. That was the beginning. I never looked back.
No, you
Why
have
do
not
you
looked
think you
back.
have such ferocity?
I may not be the most athletic, but I've become very animalistic. A lot of people have this killer instinct, but for some reason mine is very near the surface. That is what I think adds a lot of validity to Rocky, because when he punches, the skill is not there, but the ferocity is just primal. And that's what gets him over the hump. You remember years ago when I got into that arm wrestling contest with a guy who was like Mr. Adonis, and he was like huge. Remember? He was like huge. We were skinny.
He was.
Like, I think it was like 19, 20 years old, something like that. He was Mr. Adonis, and he said, "Why don't you arm wrestle him?" I said, "He'll probably break my arm," at the University of Miami. And then we locked up, and I went into this wolf mentality. Remember, I said, I'm a wolf, and he couldn't believe it. I kept howling, like this, just so primal, and he was beat. And if you remember, he had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, but and you also have to remember that he was a championship bodybuilder of University of Miami.
Yeah, he was a championship bodybuilder. He was huge.
He was huge before it was huge to be huge.
I know.
He was much bigger than you.
Oh, much bigger.
He didn't work out at the gym.
No, it
back
didn't work
then.
out at all. But it was a mental thing. He couldn't lose to me. It was impossible. And that.
What if he put his hat on backwards, like over the top?
Right?
That was his secret.
Breakdown. He
Yeah,
never.
He never
went to a
he
gym
was
again.
the Greek god of the University of Miami campus.
Greek god of the universe. That was his.
He was. Wherever we went.
Blonde hair.
And by the way, not a bad guy. A nice
Not a bad guy.
But
It just was what. I was arm wrestling for a different reason. I was like. He thought this is a good joke. So I try to incorporate that into a fella who's not that big, but he's just ferocious. Kind of like a Mike Tyson, where you make up for the size with the ferocity. It's all about what's at stake.
Yeah.
That what is your motivation? Are you fighting to eat? If I don't win, do I get
hungry?
deported?
Get the eye of the tiger.
Something like that. I mean, what are the stakes? Quite often the stakes, I just want to be champ. Not good enough.
Yeah.
It
wears
doesn't-
out after a while.
I can't relate to that. The audience can't relate to it.
Yeah, good point.
So when Rocky goes in there, in his first one, his goal is just to be not another bum from the neighborhood. I just want to be able to I stand up. I just want to be standing at the end of my life saying, I did it. And everybody wants that. No one expects everyone to go, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be a genius, I'm going to invent a new light bulb, I'm going to walk on the moon. No. I just want to be able to stand at the end of my life and say, yeah, raised my kids, did this, pay my taxes. I lived a decent life. And I left something behind, which is dignity. Period. Because without dignity, without that sense of self, you better break every mirror in the house.
Dignity, that's the
And
goal.
so that's what's
Like
happening here. That's why when I see Dolph doing this, and it's like he's coming apart in the ring. He's not there physically anymore. He's there just intellectually. He's going, oh my God. Everything that I thought I was, I'm not. And this guy, what he's fighting for is obviously more important than what I'm fighting for. And that's it. It's the hunger. It's the hunger. Now I realize why I end up in the hospital all the time. And the spine is always being thrown out of whack, and the shoulders that will be operated on because it's just reckless abandon. Just
So you have a great ability.
I'm proud though. At
access
least it's on film forever. Okay. The injuries are on film forever.
Just the X-ray films.
This is what I was talking about, winding up, getting emotionally a little, right? Watch.
Huh. Like that shot. The kind of a warrior yell. Like that.
I recommend it. Everything in the Russian gym is warm. Everything for me is cold, except when I'm indoor. What can you do about the red lights in there? You think with the 4K it's going to be more accentuated? What it is, he's training in infrared. Like it's for sweat and this and that.
Yeah, I can increase.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So Sly, you're color timing the movie right now.
Yeah.
What in 35 years do you want to do different? Something that's sitting on you that you wanted to change?
Yeah, it's too warm, so I definitely want to do the Russian training sequence in a bluer, colder tone. Actually, in this fight too, it's very unnatural, and it's really not the color we are. So this is all going to be cooler, which will be more realistic to our skin tones. It's a big job. And thank God I don't have to do it. Should we put blue tone in there?
Sure.
I think that might help.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you think this could be brighter?
Well, it's like overcast, right? From the snow.
Well, yeah, it's overcast, but when I was there, it just seemed brighter.
Okay.
The snow was whiter.
Oh yeah.
I think the blue look will help a bit. I want this to be glaring. This is such a stark contrast to where he lives. Everyone has a tan. Like, not such a bad place. Wow. Look at him. He has a tan. When you see fresh snow like this, there's a reason you put on sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know these guys for real. They're as pale as corpses.
What are you doing?
I'm making notes on what Mr. Stallone tells me about the color and the image and brightness and darkness and so forth.
Anything you can do right here. See, right now, this to me seems dull. The light on the center of him, that's a big floodlight, and I don't feel like it's doing much.
Oh boy, what a lot of work for these
Also,
guys.
all my flashbacks are in black and white.
Oh, cool.
There's no color to color. I'm the only one in color. While driving, since I'm in the present, everything else is in the past.
Right.
So this is all black and white.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
High
Okay.
contrast too, you know what I mean?
Oh, so
No
the
noir.
flashbacks
It
will be
should
black and white.
have,
Eh? Interesting.
Kind of a grainier effect.
To make it look like it's flashback?
Yeah.
Who's that
We
talking?
were debating about trying to go back to the original footage instead of the Duke that's in Rocky IV.
Right.
You want it to be green, so we won't do that.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
just pull the color out.
Right.
The colors, while they're great, they're really bright. But I think pulling some of that will give a different feeling to it.
It'll give it a more mature feeling,
Yeah.
more dramatic for sure. This
And
is,
less 80s.
I was gonna say, this is classic 80 coloration.
Yeah, just saturate
Classic.
everything.
How our tastes change.
Right. Let's hope so, right?
You know, as you get older, you get rid of your tchotchkes. Enough already. Get rid of this shit.
Yeah, I like it clean.
We're having a Rocky IV yard sale.
Right.
The robot's the first.
The robot's gotta go. No offer refused. The fact that Rocky IV worked is a minor miracle, because it's what, half montage.
Well, that's
I mean, it's like 5 montages.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that
It
montage.
was like a real experiment. But this time, it's going to be a drama with all the superfluous, goofy stuff out.
Do you remember your first day of filming with Dolph?
The final fight. That was the first thing we shot.
Yeah, they usually do the fights first. Yeah.
My entrance, his entrance, and then the introductions, and then the fight. And then I got really injured during the fight, and I had to be flown into intensive care back in California
From where?
from Canada. And
Vancouver.
I stayed in intensive care for 4 days. Decided to have a reshoot. I said, why don't you just come in the first round and just take me apart? And I said, yeah, I said, just unload on me and I'll do my best to defend myself. And then the fight will begin. So it shows your actual dominance. And that's what's in the original movie. Well, he pulverized me, and I didn't feel it at the moment, but later that night, my heart started to swell. It's
Oh,
going to be
boy.
bruised the periocardial sac, which is usually when the heart hits the chest, kind of like in a car accident.
Right.
And when your chest hits the steering wheel. And then my blood pressure went up to 260,
Oh man.
and they thought I was going to be talking to angels. Next thing I know, I'm on this emergency low altitude flight to St. John's Hospital, and I'm I'm in intensive care, surrounded by nuns. Then after that, I had to go back and finish the fight. Crazy, huh? Oh, yeah. Hello. Jesus.
What happened there?
How could you cut out of that? Oh my God.
What's he referring to?
What were they thinking? Run that again, please.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, we get past this. Let's get there. No, keep going.
That's the camera. I'm pretty sure that's the
That is the shot.
That's this shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can you make it work? Oh, you lose a frame in the negative.
Yeah.
I
don't think
heard
it's
that there were some parts in the recut that are jumpy a little bit. I wonder if this is what they're talking about. So they wanted to
Because
keep
if
some
necessary,
things, but
what we do is we go from there to the piece that you put in and back to this.
All right.
Damn it.
There is a take 2 if you want to look at it.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I heard there's some editing that was a little bit
That
jumpy
says
in
it
the
all.
recut. So
Yeah, with a towel over your head.
It says it all.
No, did no look in take 2.
Yeah, we gotta make this work.
this must be one of those scenes, I bet.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Look at that. He goes there, and then
Cut back to him here before we cut to this.
I don't know if we need this.
Or do we cut to this even?
No.
Because here's what this shot is just him walking across.
No, I would. No. I would go to that shot. Go to Dolph. Go back a little bit, please. Go. Yeah. Then go to me. Walking past, shaking my head. Then see if the geography works. Then we'll go back to the last shot with the towel on the head. So you cut back to Dolph, and then you cut back to this. Sorry, that's what we just saw. That is what we just saw.
This is from a different setup. This is
No,
from
I get that. This setup, I went up and then it stopped. Then it would
Yeah,
stop.
The other one was the
Continuation.
continuation.
Exactly. Okay.
Right? From where you're.
Right. That's
From-
where I'm
from-
yelling here, going.
Right.
Right.
But it's more in the stuff going on.
A lot of
Yeah,
work
so
put into
this
the
stuff
final
here-
fight. I mean, the movie
Let's
recut is
check it
called
out.
Rocky
It's
vs.
pretty
Drago,
vicious.
so
You know, why don't you play it from the stream on?
it seems like he's
Yeah, back it up a little
rearranging the
bit to where it
whole
starts
final
psyching
fight.
up. Let's go.
Yeah, that yell, it's not in the original cut. I'm 99% sure that that's awesome. I like that they kept that. That's really cool. Oh, yeah, so here, there's big misses there. Wonderful. Wow, great footage.
I don't know if we can use any of that, but that's pretty good. Let's see another camera. Here we go.
This angle here. You gotta keep that yell. Those are better angles there for the misses, yeah. Oh, wow.
Ooh. That's a great shot. Oh, right there.
Yeah. That last one still kind of misses though. I'm being excited to watch the recut.
Damn. This is cut up like a Cobb salad. This is a morass of self-discovery, kind of like a swamp. The deeper you get into it, it becomes cinematic quicksand.
Right.
And if someone doesn't pull you out, you're a goner. And pulling you out usually means they cut off the money. So that's the rope they send down. It's like, there's no more money, okay, you gotta come out of the quicksand.
So in other words, if you weren't returning to your Samaritan, you'd be continuing.
Come on, Samaritan. Give us Samaritan.
Really a lost cause, because I would be here, and then my wife would end up divorcing me, my children would disown me.
No,
That's the problem. Directors live in a isolation tank. Once you commit to a feature, it becomes an addiction and it's all consuming. I think Frank Capra put it very succinctly. He said that reality started when he drove onto the back lot of Paramount, and fantasy started unreality on the drive home. That wasn't real, and that's so much the truth. This is always difficult. It's editing room separation anxiety. Gotta finish this. I've got to go.
He's gone! He's gone now!
Long day. Oh. Are we nearing the end here?
I guess, you know, when you're a lot younger, you don't think about pacing, and you don't think, you know, everything seems to be, let's get to the chase, get to the chase. I'm going, as long as there's emotion spinning inside, you are chasing. Your body is reacting. It's very animated. So it says, what is more important, getting to the fight or getting to the heart of the fight? And I went, wow. So
Both.
all this stuff was done originally that I literally have forgotten about, and I have to write that off to the folly of youth.
I thought here
Period.
40 were young. But
I didn't believe in myself as a filmmaker
That's a great
the way I do now. Now I have wisdom, I have experience. Now I realize what is really valuable. Much more than just the patina, the shine. It's what's underneath the shine that gives it its value. You want to see something amazing? Check this out. Okay. Just watch the momentum here.
This is just a street fight. It's a question of who wins it most. He's winning.
Watch this. Here we go. Look at this. Go, Rocco! Oh, is that an ass beating or what?
What do you feel watching this now?
I feel foolish. I said, my God, you know, like the ship sailed, circus left town. That's why this is a mixed bag of emotions right now. It makes me very angry.
well,
Gratified, but also angry that I didn't see it at the time. But isn't that
what life's all
the
about.
conundrum of life?
Yeah.
It really is. If I only knew then what I knew now, there it is.
Yeah. Cue the Robert Tepper song here.
This is like getting dressed for a prom in a dark closet. You come out with a brown shoe, a black shoe, a bow tie, a red shirt. You know what I mean? You don't know until you put it together. I haven't actually seen it all the way yet. So this would be the first night.
So you have to do a recut of the recut of the recut.
Yo. Here we go. Yeah.
but
I'm very
started on
gratified that I got
the
this
first fight
chance
against
to
Clever.
go into a time machine, and I realized that the movie didn't change that much, but I changed, and then the movie changed. I just am a different person, and I've lived a lot in those 35 years. It transcends just a boxing film. I think right now it's a drama about individualism and man against the machine, man against the system, rugged individualism.
Different song playing there.
Super highway.
Oh, there we go. Okay, hi.
All the fights are like now. There are, exactly. How do you feel?
What matters
Sly's
in
always
the
gotta
world
sing.
is what you have in your heart, what you think is right, no matter how many people go against you, no matter how many times you're turned down or rejected or laughed at or scorned. If you know in your heart that you're doing the right thing, that's all that matters, and you have to be able to go man against the world. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but that's the value of being a free thinking human being, no matter what the cost.
There's always the possibility of holy intrusion. He gave us life to know those answers.
Some more funeral stuff that we'll get to see, I guess. We should get a shot of Marianne and Adrian. Nice. Good shot there. It's kind of cool. Reflection off the pictures.
What'd you think?
I'm a happy man. I really think that we nailed it.
All right.
We delivered the knockout blow.
We'll
I
see.
finally said what I wanted to say. I should have said 35 years ago. That man, all of us are entitled to follow our dreams, to stick to our beliefs, no matter what the consequences is. Because in the end, that's all you have, is the faith in yourself. And if you keep believing in that, eventually it will come true. Your dreams will come true. But you have to be able to take a few good punches.
All right. Wow. So, all right. So I won't give too many final thoughts because, like I said, this is just my first time watching this documentary. I haven't seen the Rocky versus Drago cut yet. I am going to be reviewing this documentary with Doug from Rocky Minute and Craig from Slycast on a very soon-to-be episode. And then I'll be watching, of course, Rocky versus Drago. Before we do that review, I'm going to watch this so we can talk about the what the documentary meant to the final film product. But then I'm going to do an actual review of the Rocky versus Drago cut shortly thereafter with, of course, my co-hosts Katie and Kyle on Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. Anyways, that was just me watching it. Thanks for joining me. Not much really to add, and if you watched it for the first time with me, that's cool too. So anyways, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining me, and